father was not much of an art person, but he was a builder of buildings, so he loved building. And he saw this in the 60s, I guess. And we built a building directly across the street from Lincoln Center and the Metropolitan Opera, which has the two Chagalls.
Yes.
And he was always very proud of that. And always, I was wondering how he knew about Chagalls, and he knew about it from having been here. Now I remember that it made a big impression on him. Nice to meet you. My wife Abby.
Mrs. Weinstein.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, are we ready?
One, two, three.
Bravo!
תודה רבה לכם, תהיו בריאים, כל הזמן, באושר, ביופי, בהכל.
Wishing you to be healthy.
Tavi is aortic valve replacement without surgery.
Yeah.
Without surgery.
I'm feeling better. I make Santur before 5 years. And now I'm feeling good.
As good as new.
Better.
We were in the ICCU in the old building before.
That's which.
No, we were actually there a few months ago.
And also
Right.
cardiology. So you
Cardiology.
So you can compare a little bit.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You've moved from ancient history to the 21st century.
Hi,
I'm the head of the cabinet.
Howard Milstein. Nice to
So
meet
I'm the one who enjoys.
Yes.
I'm the main one.
you. Who gets the benefit?
הרמה נכבד יחד עם כבוד סגן השר, ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לקבוע מזוזנו.
Amen.
גיבה קווץ'. קווץ'.
This is a very special occasion for Hadassah, the Women's Zionist Organization of America, the Hadassah Medical Organization, and the Milstein family. Through the generous gift of the Milstein family, we are able to inaugurate the Irma and Paul Milstein Heart Center. Irma Milstein, a dedicated member of Hadassah, personally chose to support and advance cardiology care, and her son Howard and his wife Abby have made possible a facility that will bring to Israel unprecedented research and treatment in cardiology. The new center occupies the entire third floor, 4,500 square meters, and makes use of new workstations, of additional beds, and of areas that can help in catheterization, post-catheterization, and simply treatment and care, adding more than 4 times the space of the previous Heart Institute. For HWZOA, the opening of the Milstein Heart Center is a dream come true. It epitomizes HWZOA's mission of practical Zionism in terms of the scope and excellence of healthcare that this center embodies. We are exceedingly grateful to the generosity of the Milstein family for this very major gift that makes this facility a reality. I would like, first of all, to introduce as our first speaker, Deputy Minister of Health, Yaakov Litzman, who has been an unprecedented and unimaginable supporter and friend of HMO. Deputy Minister Litzman was first elected in 1999 as a member of the 15th Knesset During the 15th, 16th, and 17th Knesset, he served as chairman of the Finance Committee. He has served as both the Minister of Health and the Deputy Minister of Health in the 18th and 20th Knesset. And one of the biggest achievements of Deputy Minister of Health was the funding and dental treatment for children from the National Health Care System budget. His public activities outside of the Knesset include serving as the Director General of Bet Yaakov and initiating the establishment of Haredi residential areas in Bet Shemesh, Ashdod, Tel Aviv, and Arad. It is truly our honor to have with us today the greatest supporter in the government of Israel that can be with us, and that is our own Deputy Minister of Health, Yaakov Litzman.
Thank you very much. The Milstein family, General Director Zev Rothstein from the hospital, Professor Tan, all the former general directors, the rabbi of the hospital. I told Mr. Milstein before that I'd like to know the mitzvah he did before Hadassah that brought him to mitzvah geret mitzvah. So I'd like to know what he did before that brought him to bring this mitzvah. The next mitzvah, what he's going to do, I know already, because after he sees what he did here today, he's going to do it again. I'm sure for that, I have no doubts about it. But I was here 2 days ago. I visited here Hadassah, I visited Shad Tzedek, I visited all the hospitals. Believe me, they're going crazy for me. And when I came here, they asked me to see the department, new department. I couldn't believe what I saw. And I'm telling you this as a man which I know on my hand all hospitals, all the problems, all the tsuras, everything I know. And believe me, what they're doing here today, they're not only saving one life, they're saving tens and hundreds, maybe thousands of lives from people. After you see what they brought in, the new machinery, all the new things today. So in everything you make a business, you need a bracha for success. Without that, you can't get along. In tzedakah, you also need success. You can invest in certain things, places there, and nothing is going to be from there. But if you invest in certain thing here, which saves lives of people, which you're doing here today, and believe me, if I will be your advisor, don't take me because it'll cost too much. But if it'll be my advisor, this is the best place to invest. So I congratulate you and your wife and the family for building this department. I know Professor Lotan a lot of years. He's a great doctor. And except that he's a great doctor, he's also a great man. Not always both things go together, but for him it does go together. So I congratulate Hadassah, I congratulate Zev Rothstein, and I wish you good luck and a healthy you and your family. Thank you.
She has given her heart, as well as her soul, and her life to the Jewish values of Tikkun Olam, to the existence and security of the State of Israel, and to the success and future of HMO. Her deep dedication to the people of Israel has been a beacon for all of us who are members of the Hadassah Women's Zionist Organization. It is my pleasure indeed to welcome up Ellen Hershkin, our national president.
As someone who grew up in New York, I have long known the name Milstein. Yours is a legendary family, not only the Horatio Alger story of the successes, but your reputation in giving back. In so many areas, your family has devoted itself to making this a better world. Your beloved mother, Irma, believed that Hadassah's mission embodied the Milstein values. This hospital, the handiwork of women who knew what was important, reflects those values. From the day we started in this city of Jerusalem, we were a bridge to peace before that phrase was even coined. We have always provided health care for all, from the poor children of Jerusalem, Jews, Muslims, and Christians, with flies in their eyes when Henrietta Zold and her mother visited pre-state Israel in 1909, to the Syrian children who just recently came secretly with their mothers to have their small hearts repaired. One very sick baby crossed the border from Syria with a woman who turned out not to be her mother, but her aunt, who left her own children under fire in Syria because she heard that Hadassah Hospital might give her niece life. Your mother chose this heart center, and it is with honor for me to deliver the following letter. Dear Ellen, I begin by expressing my profound regret that I am not with you to bear witness to the dedication of the Irma and Paul Milstein Heart Center in the Sarah Wetzman Davidson Hospital Tower. There is only one person who regrets not being in Israel more than me, and that is my dear friend, Irma Milstein. Indeed, my relationship with Irma spans many years, and it has been both my pleasure and privilege to come to know her. Our friendship began with a phone call to Hadassah House. Irma called many years ago in response to an article she read in Hadassah magazine about the Hadassah Hebrew University School of Public Health. The article struck her to the extent that she decided to make a significant gift to the school in honor of her daughter's 40th birthday. And as the National Major Gifts Chair at the time, the call was forwarded to me, not me, the author of the letter, and the rest is history. From that time forward, Irma and I met several times at Hadassah House for lunch at the Park Lane, or in the more intimate setting, her gracious New York apartment on 3rd Avenue. From the start, there was no doubt that Irma was a devoted Zionist, and her life membership in Hadassah was very important to her. During these visits, we talked about everything: Israeli politics, world travels, annual vacations with her entire family to Florida and beyond. Beyond, those were the Hadassah happenings, and most of all, her devotion to her ever-growing family, including her children, grandchildren, and in recent years, her great-grandchildren. I was also delighted to meet Paul Milstein of blessed memory, a truly iconic entrepreneur and philanthropist who filled the room with his very presence. I will always remember when I told Irma about Hadassah's plans to build a new inpatient facility on our Ein Kerem campus. In describing the project, Irma immediately declared, "Let me know the plans. I want to support this campaign." And so, as renderings were confirmed, I shared everything with Irma, who met also with Professor Shlomo Mor Yosef, Professor Chaim Lotan, and then National President June Walker of blessed memory. And during a quiet conversation with me, Irma told me what she and Paul intended to pledge. It was a moment that truly took my breath away. In closing, and in the presence of Irma's family and colleagues from the Paul and Irma Milstein Foundation, who joined us at this meaningful dedication event, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Irma and Paul Milstein. Their magnanimous commitment to our new state-of-the-art Heart Center with countless lives, which will touch countless lives and leave a lasting legacy for the Milstein family and for all of us in Hadassah. With admiration and pride, Joyce Rabin. And to you, Howard, and to you, Abby, this building not only carries proudly the names of Irma and Paul, but it is truly because of you that we are able to sit here today in the name of the entire Hadassah family and our patients. Toda rabah.
I did not know that I was going to introduce our wonderful Director General, Zev Rothstein. So let me do it from the heart rather than from notes. Our Director General has brought to this institution a drive, a vision, a purpose, and success that we have not experienced before. He is a man whose heart really and his soul resides in the hospitals of HMO. Every day, he brings to this institution his commitment for the success of health care at its highest level of excellence that the people of Israel and the world deserve. He's not just a physician, he's not just an administrator, he's not just the Director General of HMO, but he's a humanitarian. He's a humanitarian from whom flows a commitment of all of us to this institution. When I go around the communities in the United States to describe to them the future of Hadassah Medical Organization, I always say, I am so optimistic for this organization because of the vision of Professor Zev Rothstein. Zev, please join me here.
I have to start with some kind of private end. Milstein, for me, is giving. You cannot even guess why. When I was born in Haifa many years ago, when I was a child, we were quite poor people, without even an apartment to live. So we were host, I would say, in a certain building owned by a very wealthy person called Milstein. As a boy, I remember it was a lot of quarrels about, the facilities, etc., and all the families that lived there. But I, as a boy, was spoiled by Mr. Milstein himself. Every day, as a young boy of 4 years old, I was standing in front of the main gate to the building, waiting for Mr. Milstein to return back from his work. He used to call me to his Henry G car, and he drove me 30 meters to the garage. For me, that was a real giving for a child who really didn't have too much at that time. Now times fly by. Here I am, devoted as I am to the HMO, to Hadassah, and try to do the best I can. And again, I meet the Milsteins. Coming here with open heart, giving, and be patient for more than 10 years to see the donation realized. And the knight on a white horse was given, okay, the opportunity to return with this fantastic facility, your donation. And your donation is purely given not only to HMO, Hadassah, HWZOA, you are giving to the people of Israel. You are giving life to them. In this facility, which I believe, okay, that there is no limit or no anything that will stop us, no constraints. I promise you to do the utmost to save everybody's life when he is here in need, and to do and to bring in the most advanced technology to use by the best physicians and staff that we have, because this is our A-team. The cardiology staff, starting with the physician and ending by the last in order, of course, including all these wonderful nurses, are well known all over the country and attract patients that are coming from the Galilee and from the desert in the south. And they will know that they were treated in the Milstein Heart Center. Doesn't mean that we finish the Heart Center. You cleverly, Paul, asked me, okay, if we have also non-invasive here in the floor. And I had to admit that we don't have. We don't have because this building was planned to be hospitalization tower. And something is missing, which might be take any other form like ambulatory building, institution building, or, you know, just to complete the heart center as I vision it, to include also the non-invasive, which is very large. It starts from screening of normal population, because we have to remember that 25% of presenting sign of coronary event, which some of them is heart attack, are starting as a sudden death in the road or outside the hospital. So we need to get and to reach out in normal populations, those who think that they are healthy, to screen them, to try to find the disease before we have the symptoms, to save even those people future disease that they don't know about it yet. And in fact, you know, I came to office after many of my colleagues that run the hospital, and I am so happy that they are with us today, most of them. And they started, and specifically Shlomo started, okay, with planning the facility. And so my job was easier, just to add on the top of it, but not to start from the beginning. And I add to the planning a very short corridor to another building at the other side of the road, which will be the heart center entrance, and the clinics, outpatient clinics, the imaging, everything that we can do, and of course the screening, which is extremely important. And then by 30 meters, it will be very short for those who have positive stress tests to come over here, to be catheterized, treated, go back home, returning to follow up to the building. So I promise you to do the utmost I can in order to add it to the facility, and I'll be extremely happy when this complex will be prepared. So thank you very much for everybody. Thanks, specific thanks for the previous Director General and the previous presidents of the organization, because we should believe in continuation. This organization really have roots that goes back 100 years, and we don't forget anybody who contribute to the cause. Thank you very much, and have a good Shabbos. Thanks again.
Professor Chaim Lotan graduated from Hadassah Hebrew University Medical School in 1979. Since 2000, he has worked as the director of cardiology division of the Hadassah Hebrew University Medical Center. He is the current head of the Israel Cardiology Association, and he has served as the chair of the National Board of Examinations for Cardiology Specialty since 2004. What I would like to say and share with you is that Professor Latan is really the inspiration for this institution here, this cardiology center. He has in many ways served as the catalyst for today's dedication. As the director of Hadassah's unmatched Heart Institute, he has established levels of excellence and care that are unparalleled throughout the world. In every respect, he has been a man who has brought to this institution the pride that we have in the treatment that we offer, and that is so deserving of the Milstein's support for this particular institute. Professor Latan.
As you all know, in the course of lifetime, people experience only a few select memorable times, minutes, that they will carry with them throughout their life. For me, the opening of this center is going to be such a thing, such a rare event, such a treasure moment that I will continue to carry with me. I still remember opening 18 years ago the previous cath lab with my late father. I came to Hadassah as a student 40 years ago, and Hadassah actually was my home since then. I never left. Hadassah is where I grew professionally, from a student to a junior faculty, cardiologist, and as mentioned, for the last 18 years, the director and the chairman of this wonderful cardiology department. When I joined the Hadassah team, we had the most modern facility. We had the first intensive care unit under Professor Gottsman, who is the previous chairman and sitting here with me. We had the most modern cath labs, and I was proud that we have the most modern facility with the best staff. Unfortunately, the infrastructure and facility at Hadassah has fallen behind a little bit, and we're able to keep our position as leaders only because of the wonderful staff that we have here around and the high quality and dedication of the doctors, the nurses around me. Since my appointment as the director of this department, I've worked to convince the Hadassah management of the importance of constructing a new building, a new heart center, a new cardiovascular institute. And this really was my dream. I was overjoyed when I learned the decision to build a new tower, and Professor Mor Yosef called me and said that we're going to have a cardiology department which will be equipped with all the most modern and cutting-edge technologies. I vividly remember my first meeting with your parents, with Irma and late Father Paul in their wonderful, magnificent home in 3rd Avenue. It was 2005. This meeting was a defining moment, really, because I remember sharing with Irma the vision of a heart center. And I told her all the needs around it, and that will be the best center with the advanced facility that will provide the best possible care that we can provide to patients, regardless of age, gender, or religion. I must admit that Irma immediately got the idea and shared the same vision. And she felt like that's her personal way to express her commitment to Israel and to Hadassah. It was amazing. The Milstein generous support and the enthusiasm for the Heart Center project was really the foundation that made the construction and establishment of the Irma and Paul Heart Center. That's what made it possible. This meeting, and I still remember it, was really the starting point, and I came home and I said, the dream is coming true. The hospital financial struggle unfortunately postponed a little bit the opening. As you know, the heart center, Georgette is here with me, and she came several times to check why things are a little bit delayed. But actually, the delay makes today's opening even more momentous. We are grateful and proud to actualize the Milstein family vision and fulfill their legacy in our Irma and Paul Heart Center. We're thrilled at the new technologies that we've been able to show you, amazing one that will enhance the care of the patients, but the true gratitude will be expressed by all our patients, as you have already heard, that will now undergo the same treatment with the same level of physicians and nurses, but a facility that is really at the top and experience a unique healing and restorative treatment. Now, personally, Abby and Howard, I really want to take this opportunity and welcome you to the most treasured place for me in this hospital, which is the third floor, the Irma and Paul Milstein Center, and express my hope that you will feel how meaningful these moments are to me and to everyone who works in these centers. My door and our door will be always open to you. And as you know, and the rabbi is here, in the Jewish tradition, we cannot finish a talk without mentioning some what we call Dvar Torah, Parashat HaShavua. And as you may know, Parashat HaShavua this week is Noah. And God was anxious and angry a little bit, and he brought the floods and the hurricanes. But he had Noah to build an ark and save the world. This is our ark, where we are going to save all heart patients in Israel and beyond. So on behalf of the Heart Center team, and I always say it's a team, we have close to 200 people here, which are the most dedicated people in the heart team, and the entire staff of the hospital that work day and night. And I'm happy that we set a timetable because we had to study the timetable, and everyone helped us to bring upon this timetable. I want to thank you, and thank you, your generosity from the bottom of my heart, and I'm a cardiologist, so I know what they say. Thank you very much.
I think you already know by now that Howard Milstein leads a family that has been prominent in business and philanthropy for 4 generations. He is chairman, president, and CEO of the New York Private Bank and Trust and its operating bank, Immigrant Bank, the country's largest privately owned family-run bank. He also chairs and operates the Milstein family's real estate companies. Howard provides both the commitment and leadership to a range of communal, civic, and educational organizations. He is particularly active in the fields of medical research and health care delivery that he will describe to you in his remarks. Equally impressive, however, is his commitment to Jewish causes, including the Jewish Agency for Service for the Aged, JASA as we call it, the Center for Interreligious Understanding, the Tannenbaum Center for Interreligious Understanding. And in this regard, I'd like to welcome Georgette Bennett, the founder and the president of this center, who has been absolutely instrumental in moving this wonderful occasion and wonderful development forward. Georgette is not only an inspiration to me, but I have gotten to know her, thank you, Howard and Abby, through this process, and I feel forever grateful for having made that friendship. Howard is also a part of the Jewish Museum, leads part of the leadership of the Jewish Museum, UJA Federation, the American Jewish Committee, and the Jewish Theological Seminary. What is so amazing, however, is that these are only a small fraction of the organizations in which Howard has contributed and which he is involved. And secondly, that this is only a few of the organizations from which he has received some of the most prestigious awards. Howard is married to Abby Snyderman Milstein, and I learned this morning as we went downstairs to the Abel Synagogue that her mother, father, and aunt received their yahrzeits here at the Abel Synagogue, for which I personally am deeply moved, and only represents yet another example of the commitment and the involvement of the Milstein family in this institution. And also, they have one son, Michael, who unfortunately could not be here today. I was looking forward to seeing him. To say we are humbled, honored, and grateful by the Milstein family's commitment to HMO is an understatement. We are overwhelmed, as Chaim has already said, by the family's generosity and by your presence here today. Everyone, please join me in giving Howard Milstein and Abby Milstein an enthusiastic round of applause that they so greatly deserve.
We are commanded to love God with all our heart. We love and honor our parents, Paul, Shalom, and Irma Milstein, and dedicate the Irma and Paul Milstein Heart Center at the Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem. Maimonides' oath for physicians begins with, quote, "The eternal providence has appointed me to watch over the life and health of thy creatures," unquote. The Milstein family is committed to breakthrough medical research and solutions to preserve life. And the Irma and Paul Milstein Heart Center is a tribute to our parents and to Israel for its many contributions to world health. So, Zev, you grew up, there was a Milstein that drove you 30 meters to the garage. I think you're looking for another Milstein to drive you 30 meters across the street. We heard from Minister Litzman, Hadassah National Presidents, past and present, Ellen, Marlene Post, Nancy Falchuk, and Marcy Natan, CEO Janice Weinman. Director Generals past and present, Zev, Shlomo Mor Yosef, Professor Avi Israeli, Professor Tamar Peretz, Director of the Milstein Heart Center, Dr. Chaim Lotan, and staff of the Hadassah Israel office. Thank you for being here today to celebrate the dedication of the Irma and Paul Milstein Heart Center. For our family, this isn't just any dedication ceremony. We've been privileged to name many physical spaces, but this is a space that's both physical and spiritual. It's a space located in the ancient Jewish homeland in the state of Israel, and a space that, thanks to the magnificent Davidson Tower, exemplifies our modern startup nation. Finally, it reflects my mother's enthusiastic support for Hadassah going back more than 60 years. She very much regrets not being able to be here today, but at 92, she's not traveling too much. I can say, just to share with you a little bit about her background, that like Zev, she grew up in poor circumstances during the Great Depression. And she always would tell her children that no matter how poor they were, they always put something in the pushki. The pushki was a little place where you collect the charitable pennies and nickels. And literally that's what they were putting in the 1930s in New York. But charity has always been very central to our thinking. The Milstein family commitment to supporting medical research and care dates back to the 1960s, starting with our support for interferon research. The Milstein Hospital building at New York's Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center is a testament to my father's vision of a world-class patient care facility. Its affiliated medical college houses many programs, also founded by my parents, designed to improve medical outcomes. These gifts have cultivated surgical science and encouraged young scholars to meet the challenges of heart disease. My wife Abby and I, in turn, are building on this legacy. We're advancing the treatment of drug-resistant infectious diseases and have established the Chemical Core Facility and program in medicinal chemistry and translational medicine at Weill Cornell Medical College. We've also nurtured new treatments for melanoma and other skin diseases through Rockefeller University and the National Institutes of Health and the American Skin Association, which I happen to chair. Researchers at the Milstein National Cord Blood Center at the New York Blood Center have discovered innovative uses of umbilical cord stem cells to treat a long list of diseases and have made breakthroughs in regenerative medicine. Our interests in the human life cycle, from reproductive medicine to aging, and we've set up a foundation that shares the best of American and Chinese medicine by fostering bilateral exchanges with China. And so far we've brought 50 doctors from China, from 20 different major institutions in China, to do research in the areas I just mentioned in the United States. Of course, we're very aware of Israel's own relationships with China. A laser focus on translational medicine undergirds all our family's support of medical care and research. For those of you who don't know what translational medicine is, it's a mouthful. That means moving research from the bench, from the scientist, to the bedside, to the doctor, to the patient, and curing people. From bench to bench. From bench to bench. Good, exactly. Most of that support is focused on US-based institutions. Hadassah is a major exception. That's because of Hadassah's own dedication to patient-centered care and high-impact medical research. Hadassah research has yielded world-renowned, riveting breakthroughs, which we admire from afar in New York. I'd say usually. Today I'm admiring it firsthand. Such as immunotherapy for advanced melanoma, gene therapy to replace failing heart cells, regenerative medicine, cutting-edge treatments for neurodegenerative diseases, diabetes, and other chronic illnesses. That makes us, as a family, especially proud to be associated with Hadassah and the hospital here. We are assembled in a world-class facility which builds on the past and is fully prepared for the future. 6 cath labs, 11 cardiac intensive care units, 18 inpatient rooms, and myriad work, consultation, and staff rooms. All of this is built on a firm financial footing. The Heart Center will produce enough revenue to service the cardiac needs of a city that has grown by 20% and whose population is aging. Congratulations for having brought this grand achievement to fruition. The Hebrew Bible contains the word heart 827 times, most of them figurative. The Talmud makes literal references to the anatomy of the heart. We read of chambers, great vessels, and symptoms of what we now recognize as heart disease. The Rambam, Maimonides, who was himself a medical man, wrote extensively of the heart in Medical Aphorisms of Moses, Regimen of Health, and Art of Cure. In other words, treatment of the heart goes a long way back with us. And so does holistic medicine. The Rambam also proclaimed, quote, "The doctor should not treat the disease, but the patient who is suffering from it," unquote. It's there that we find the roots of the patient-centered care we see at Hadassah. What better way to celebrate that heritage than to dedicate a heart center in Jerusalem at Hadassah? My father, Paul, alav shalom, and my mother, Irma, saw Hadassah's mission statement as the highest expression of the founding ideals of the State of Israel, to forge links between patients of all nationalities, races, and religion, who come to its doors for healing. Here at Hadassah, all patients, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Druze, secular, and religious, get dignified care from a top flight of equally diverse medical professionals. As such, Hadassah is also a bridge to peace, longer than 30 meters. If you need proof of that, look no further than the Syrian children who, in the midst of the horrific humanitarian crisis there, have been brought to Hadassah for treatment of congenital heart defects alluded to earlier. That resonates with my family too. We are engaged in supporting a multi-faith effort to ameliorate the Syrian crisis. We couldn't be more proud of what you've done here. On behalf of my beautiful and devoted wife, Abby, she also gives better speeches than I do. She always tells me that. Our son, Michael, and my parents, and the entire Milstein family, which is more than 30 of us, thank you for honoring us in this way. May you continue to go from strength to strength. Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom.